Want to start a podcast, or are you already a podcast host? What would you say if I told you that you can get paid up to $31 per guest you interview, and I can help you book those guests? If you want to start making more money with your podcast right now and interview great guests who your listeners will love, it's not too good to be true. It's Podmatch. If you use my Podmatch link in the show notes right now, Podmatch will pay you up to $31 per interview. Yes, up to $31 per interview. I did not stutter. If you want to make more money from your podcast while expanding your reach and getting more listeners, simply click our Podmatch link in the show notes right now to check out this really cool opportunity. A lot of new podcasters have a hard time coming up with good, catchy, and compelling episode titles because, let's face it, your topic might not be on copywriting, ads, and things like that, knowing how to write compelling word structures. You're an expert in your thing, not necessarily this thing, which is why in this episode, I'm going to teach you 2 headline structures that are going to help you write better and more catchy episode titles that will get more people's attention. It'll grab their eyeballs and get them to want to listen to more of your podcast episodes. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to grab the free Speak Your Listener's Language PDF. It's a simple 3-page PDF that's going to show you 7 super simple keys to easily crafting a powerful brand message for your podcast that will make your podcast more appealing to more of the right people so your show will grow. So look, if you want more people to notice your podcast more often and subscribe to it, just go grab it right now. It's totally free. Click that link in the show notes that says Speak Your Listener's Language right now. So you get into podcasting and you want to teach something, you want to talk about something, have discussions about a particular topic, but then you find out really quick, you are in a huge competition with other people who are really good at writing titles and headlines and words that compel people to come over to their show and not yours. And now sometimes a lot of podcasters feel like they're at a disadvantage, or they suddenly have to have this new skill set they have to develop. And you know what? To be honest, you do have to develop it. You do have to learn some copywriting. If you learn how to do some copywriting, how to write words that move people in certain directions to take certain specific desired actions, your podcast will definitely grow more than if you don't know how to do that. Because at the end of the day, it's words that compel people to make decisions, whether it's a buying decision or in this case, a listening decision when it comes to listening to your podcast. And so what I'm going to teach you in this episode are 2 simple, very simple headline structures you can use to adapt to your podcast. You can fill in the blanks with however this applies to your podcast, so you can start writing better headline titles, episode titles, so that more people will see it and listen. What I'm about to teach you, if you get this and do it, what I'm about to teach you in a minute is going to change the game for you and for your podcast. And let me ask you this really quick, fellow podcaster. Are you looking for an easy way to record your podcast episodes in world-class high quality, edit them in a flash, and make them live without all the technical headaches and confusion? If so, then you're in luck. Riverside FM is the premier podcast recording software that allows you to produce the same high-quality podcasts as other world-famous podcasters your listeners are already enjoying. Look, level up your podcast right now, even if you're brand new, you're not a techie, maybe you don't have a lot of time, so you can attract more listeners to your podcast consistently. This thing has AI software built into it that can cut clips from your podcast and do in 5 seconds what it would take you 5 hours to do, so you can share those to social media and get more exposure and grow your following. So look, simply click the Riverside FM link in the show notes to grow your podcast to the next level, starting right now. Okay, so here are 2 headline structures I'm going to teach you. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'm going to give you a fill-in-the-blank template. And as I'm giving you the fill-in-the-blank, I want you to think about what you could fill in these blanks that would make this just the perfect, most compelling title for maybe one of your next episodes. And then I'm going to give you some examples too. So here's example number 1. How to get more blank even if blank. I'll say that again. How to get more blank even if blank. So let's say I have a podcast where I teach people how to become public speakers, because that's what I've been doing for the past 17 years of my life, is getting paid to speak in front of audiences. So I might say to somebody, or I might use as a podcast title for people who want to learn about public speaking, I might write this out and say, how to get more paid speaking engagements, even if you're a brand new speaker. how to get, what was it? A desired outcome. But what do people who are trying to become public speakers want? They want more paid speaking engagements. Even if you're a brand new speaker. In other words, even if, and you insert their own objection there. Because in a big objection in the minds of a lot of new speakers is that, man, I want that outcome. I want to book my calendar solid with paid speaking engagements, but I'm just a brand new speaker. I don't have a lot of experience here. So now I'm saying, I'm going to show you how to get more paid speaking engagements, even if you're a brand new speaker. So it takes that objection right out from underneath them. Here's example 2. How to get more podcast listeners, even if you're new to podcasting. How to get insert desired outcome that your listeners have, even if, and insert their own objection that they have, that you can help them overcome. So again, how to get more podcast listeners, even if you're new to podcasting. So think about your podcast. How can you use this? How to get more? What do you help your listeners get more of? What do you help them get more of? What kind of desired outcome do you help them get? And what is an objection they have in their mind that you can debunk by saying how to get more of this, even if you're blank or even if whatever? Write that down. Think on it. Go through some ideas. Example number 2. Has this been helpful for you? Do you know another podcaster that this episode might help? If so, please share it with them. Just click that share button and share it with them really quick. It takes only about 3 seconds, and it'll help me to help them in the same way I'm trying to help you today. Do you struggle to write compelling and effective brand messaging that gets your podcast noticed? Do you want more people to listen to your podcast, but you struggle to talk about it in a way that grabs their attention and keeps it? If your podcast marketing messaging is not up to par, you are losing listeners. But maybe you don't know anything about copywriting and writing marketing messaging and such. Fortunately for you, I've been doing it for over 17 years. Do you want me to write your podcast marketing messaging for you in a clear, powerful, and compelling way that grabs your ideal listener's attention and makes them want to listen to your podcast over and over again? Each month I take on a small, limited number of clients and rewrite their podcast marketing messaging for them. Yes, I do all the hard work for you, and you just get to enjoy the benefits of it without any of the headaches when I'm done. If you want me to craft clear, distinct, and compelling marketing messaging that grows your podcast for you so you can attract more listeners consistently, send me an email right now at podgasmshow@gmail.com. There's a link in the show notes. And put the word consult in the subject line to check my availability.